In today's lecture, I will tell you how you can use an Excel as a database in Power Automate. So for that, let's jump into the Excel itself. In this Excel, we have the Excel name as sheet1.xls and it has around 5 columns with work order, date created, status, zone, work order type. These are the 5 columns in this Excel and there are how many number of rows? There are around 372 number of rows. Now what we want to do is we want to filter out this Excel or this data table that we would be first uh, getting as a variable, the data type. We want that to be filtered out with the date created range, and that date created range, let's say we want that to be in the month of December, and that to the last week or the Christmas week of December. Let's say from 21st to 28th, this is a 7 day. So in these many days, how many work orders are there? We want only these to be extracted. Okay, as a table. Now what we can do is first let's go to our workflow, the main workflow, and try to set up two variables, the date range variables. Let's say we have kept one is a to date, and we can say it to be from 12/21/2023, and then the other one is from date. So okay, so from date could be this, and to date is 28th. Okay, so we have set two variables, one to date and from date. Now we want to launch our Excel and read it. So we will be using launch Excel, and we want to open the following document, and the name of the sheet is sheet1.xlx. Okay, and the instance of the variable is Excel instance. Now we have launched the Excel and we want to read the Excel as well. Okay, and all the value would be in the Excel data. Now, and we will add one display message. As of now, let's see what we get as an Excel data, right? And we can do this. Save it up. Now let's try to run this up and see what happens. So as you can see, there are 372 rows and 5 columns. We have an Excel instance, we have to date and from date. So we have all these things. Now we want to filter it out, and we want to use a range in the date itself. So what we can do is we can use this Excel as a database. So how we can do that? We can use an SQL connection. We can open one SQL connection with the help of Excel. So for this, I will be sharing one thing. This is an essential string for the Excel database to be connected, and here you have to set the path of the file so it can be can be that same path that we have used. And that Excel connection is formed here. Fine. Now let's try to use an execute statement and select. First, let's try to select everything from which is the sheet number. Sheet name is 1 and how we define it. This is sheet 1. This is the name of the sheet 1. Okay. So as soon as you define the name, you have to enter dollar to mention it's the sheet name and select star from overall sheet, and it would be saved into a query result. So let's try to run this up now. So in a query result, you can see it is 371, one less than we have in the Excel data. Let's see. Because it's starting from here and not it marking it as a header. And it's going up to 355. Let's check the Excel data. So in this 0 is the column names, right? But here in Excel results, 0 is the first work order number. So that is the difference. So we are good with this, right? Now we want to filter it out. And how we will be using? So as simple as an Excel or an SQL statement, we can use where clause. And what is the column name? The column name is date created, right? So we can use it inside date created is between. So in order to mention it as a date, we have to be using hash, and then we would be using to date, or I should be using this. Let's use this from date, and this is to date. So that's the thing that it mentions that is a date because of the hashtags. Now let us try to save it up and see what should be the result. Now you can see you got only 20 rows here and 5 rows and 5 columns. Okay. And all these dates are in the to and from date. So we are able to extract it perfectly fine. So that is it. And now we can close the Excel connection as well as close the SQL connection as well as the Excel connection. We can close it up, and that would be good. So let me try to do that. Let us remove the display message. We can close the SQL connection, which is SQL connection, and we can also close the Excel connection. If you want to do not save the document, that's completely fine, because let's say we are only wanting this data table to be working with. So that is how you can use an Excel as a database using this SQL connection string and executing the SQL statement as a simple SQL query, and you can get the query result in a form of data table from the Excel itself.